Welcome to Power Women of the Trades podcast. This show is all about breaking barriers and changing the game. Our guests will feature some of today's most successful female entrepreneurs and other advocates of our industry as well. Because if there's one thing we know for sure, female-led entrepreneurship drives change on multiple levels. We want to empower women in the trade industry like you so you can maximize your potential, stay balanced, achieve long-term success, and claim ownership over your life. Let's get started.
PPC, you're my guy.
You're my guy.
You're Leslie's guy.
No, you're my guy.
You guys are my ladies.
I literally, it just came to me that when you walked in that you are our longest vendor. That's a huge deal because I used to hop vendors, and I think this is something that I want you to talk about because
I want to talk about it.
I used to hop
Hopping
vendors
vendors.
because I got like the new and flashy. Someone was made me believe some crap.
Because they had a really good social
You're my
media
most
campaign.
consistent vendor because you just do what you say you're going to do, and I don't have to worry about it. And so, what do you think is the biggest mistake people make? Like, is that too early? Are we too early for that question?
We just raw dogged this.
Like for contractors and choosing a marketing partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, what it goes back to, I had this conversation actually with Ryan Redding the other day. Also really
Our
respected.
bestie,
love
Ryan
him.
Redding.
And he was talking about, the people doing the work. You want to talk to the people doing the work, And I had a client also tell me this week, actually, he said, I love working with you because, you're the owner and you help out and do the work. And once you add so many layers of account managers, they just get further and further from the actual knob turners that are doing things. So
It's hard for you guys to scale, huh?
yeah, it is. So now, actually when we started working together, it was me, a dev, and then a part-timer. And now we have 7 people.
How long ago did y'all start working together?
like we grand opened our building about 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's about 2. Yeah,
So
maybe
right
3.
after, because we all had dinner.
Almost 3.
And
No, it
then
was
we
before
sta-
that. I had him for about 3 months before that.
Okay,
and
so
that was
about the same
2021.
time that we came on.
Yeah, and so it was, I think, remember, I was like, I kept pushing you, like, you've got to talk to Forrest, you've got to talk to
I
Forrest.
wasn't doing any PPC because, we built our business on LSA.
Yeah, and so, I mean, we did too for a long time, and then I think what Forrest taught me, though,
seasons.
is I used to be the contractor that would say, Forrest, I need more leads, and I'm still going to tell you that.
Yeah.
But sometimes he really, took the time to get me on the phone and be like, okay, bro, well, I got you some leads, and I still
Yeah.
use this all the time. I can put you, Forrest can get us up to bat, and if you don't swing the bat and hit the ball, that is not his fault.
Well, and I
He
think
got
it's
us the lead.
because Forrest has a way about him that you want to receive the information he gives.
Yeah.
Because I would have been initially when you would say, Leslie, do not charge a dispatch fee on this call. And
Right.
my first instinct was you're out of your mind, Forrest.
Mm-hmm.
And then just the way he communicated with me, finally I was like, you know what, I'm willing to entertain that. Let's implement that. Let's test it and see.
Yeah.
All we can do is test it and
So
see.
at this point you have tested and
Yeah.
if you have to, you waive the service call.
Yeah.
So what's your strategy now? Do you go in with a service call and say it's 89 or whatever, and then if they object, then you'll ultimately
So
waive
it depends on the day and where we're at because we look at daily numbers and what our weekly goal is. But mostly, honestly, on your stuff because we're so dialed in and we know how much it costs us. We
Yeah.
just we get our people out there because
Yeah.
we just know our technicians are the best.
How my call
Yeah.
center is,
Let's
right?
just
Oh,
get
yeah.
out there.
My call center
Top
knows.
Gs.
My call center, I stood up in a room 2 years ago, and it's at Super Meeting 2 years ago, and said I'd put my call center up against anyone's.
Yes.
Felt
And
like
then,
a challenge.
and then this year at Super Meeting, 2 women came and was like, you said that, and it challenged me. But our call center knows, if it's one of your calls that you sent to us, it comes up by the tracking number, and
Well,
it says
and
Perry.
you have to have your service titan set up in a way that you would even know it's a PPC. So it's
Right.
it's
I mean, that's
fair
it.
to say that you have to have all of the
You have to have the tracking to know.
yeah,
and then
Totally.
you have
know
to
when you're getting a PPC
But
or an
your
LSA or a
team-
GMB.
Yeah, your team, I think a lot of people make the mistake of, just make the phone ring, but you don't tell the person on the other end what it costs to get that specific phone call. Because our team knows if it is an LSA, if it is a Perry, because ours is labeled in the system Perry, not PPC Perry. They will message me and say, we don't have room for this today, but it's a Perry. We're taking it. Okay, why? Because they know that probably cost us $350 for that call.
And if you don't handle that, you're going to get an email later with Forrest going, listen to this recording, Leslie.
I know.
Yeah, and
it's accountability.
And we have to look at the call quality too. I mean, your PPC calls are going to be higher demand. And so actually on the drive over here, I looked at your average talk time, and your average talk time on PPC calls is 4 minutes and 33 seconds on all unique calls. So we know we're not sending you junk, right? So we have other companies that it changes over time. So early on with a contractor, when we're dialing in their PPC account, it may only be a 2.5 minute average talk time. But once that account is matured and we've filtered out all the trash, then we're just sending the good stuff, you know? And I think that's where both your accounts
too.
are now.
Like it's a two-way part relationship where it's your client has to be willing to accept the feedback that you're giving them because you can't overcome bad operations. You know, I mean, you can throw all the money at marketing you want, but if you suck on the phone and you can't book a call or you can't answer it or you can't get people out. I
think a big disconnect in the industry really is that marketing and the call center are not communicating enough
They have to
on
be
most
the same.
businesses. Yeah. So I was really blessed to work with A1 for a number of years. And when I first walked in their marketing department, to help out with their Google ads. That's all I was there for. Anyways, the marketing I guys talked about, they kind of stayed in their shoebox, didn't talk to anybody. And so kind of the first thing we did was go out and, hey, let's go meet the call center. Give me the top 3 reasons you aren't booking a call, right? So anyways, their booking rates based on improving the quality of the phone call through marketing. And then the CSR training went from like 46% to over 70% booking rates. And that's on unique calls.
Wow.
I think...
is unique over 2 minutes? What is the qualifying for unique?
Excuse me, guys.
Or at least in Service Titan.
Yeah. So for us, we just look at straight unique calls and any amount of time. Like I think last month we reported for quality, you guys booked 74% of unique calls. So...
Is that good?
That's
over 70 is
exceptional.
good. Yeah.
You know,
I noticed he's not using
Kaylee mostly
as an example.
Yeah, it's exceptional because you figure, okay, so what percentage of calls are a bookable lead for most marketing sources? And if it's not dialed in, it's maybe as low as 40%, right? So then if your CSR has only booked 70% of that, now our numbers are spinning.
Right.
But overall, you would at that point only be booking 30% of unique calls, which is terrible.
Well, where I think people screw up too is like at quality, those girls know if that phone rang and it said Perry, we paid between $100 to $350 for the call. And
never $350 for the record.
Right, never $350.
Most is like $180.
It used to be way back in the day before Perry. It was truly way back in the day they were that expensive. So, but we put worst case scenario in our brain so we know if we fail this, we cost it. But a lot of companies say, no, stick to the plan, stick to the plan, stick to the plan. If you call and you're asking about a free dispatch or something, because at this point I still want to go to the house because now if I don't take it, I just lost $180 instead of, so what's another $80?
100%. Yeah. So great question for you guys. Do you notice a closing rate difference on $0 service calls versus?
Absolutely.
You do. Okay. So you close
Versus
much
what?
less? So if you go out to a house for $0, $0 dispatch fee, or you charge them $89, do you know, is your closing rate much different?
I don't have those numbers, but yes, because you've already taken down the barrier on the initial front line.
Okay.
So what I see so often, especially in our groups, and you've been part of these discussions, and I was this person, oh, well, we just value ourselves so much, we're charging that $89 or $99.
Right.
And it's like you're putting so much pressure on a CSR, like for plumbing especially. When you don't have hot water, you can't flush your toilet. I don't care what value you're providing over the phone. They're going to call the next guy that can get out there that day. It does not matter. And there's like this ideology that we're so amazing. If we can't sell that over the phone, then they don't even deserve us to show up. And it's we're plumbers.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you can't flush your toilet, we want to get out there and help you. And it's almost, I think, the least amount of barriers you can take down between 100%. You and your customer just to get your technology. We're just there to solve a problem because nobody wants to call us to begin with.
I train our call center, and I say I don't train them anymore, but I set it up, and our call center manager was one of the first CSRs for us. So she's seen it all, right? And she knows the customer service we expect, but I just say take down whatever has them stressed out, because no one, I say this all the
You're
time.
A problem solver.
No one calls us to have a beer.
You don't want to call. No, they don't want to call.
No one's calling them like, hey,
they don't want to take off work and be like, hey,
can you come hang out with us? We just wanted to have a beer and hang out. They're calling because something's broke, something's not working right.
Because you're not that special.
So, right, you're not.
You're not that special.
Something's broke, and I'm stressed the hell out about it. Yeah. I'm super nervous.
I've had to rearrange my day.
Most of the time, who are our number one, like we talked in a technician training yesterday, what is the number one, when you get to the customer's house, who 80% of the time are you meeting?
The wife.
And what did you know that on average, women, when they know that a service technician is coming, the next day they lose an hour and a half of sleep?
What?
Why?
Because they're in survival mode.
Because they fear, it makes me emotional. They fear they could be sexually assaulted the next day.
I did this.
Think about this. It did, but think about this, right? Yeah. So they're already calling stressed out because something is broke.
Because they have to have a strange man in their house.
They have to have a strange man in their house.
And maybe their kids are there.
And I literally, when that was first told to me, this was just yesterday. It gives me goosebumps.
Wow.
When that was first told to me yesterday, I was like, no way, as a woman.
Well,
and then I immediately
that
said,
when we send our dispatch texts that have a picture of our technician. On ours, we're like, here's what he likes to eat. Here's how he likes to spend his free time.
He would like
Here's why he got into plumbing.
He would like you to bring him a 7-Eleven Coca-Cola. Yeah. No, but I'm telling you, like, whenever that was said to me yesterday, I kind of was like, are you kidding? But I started thinking about specifically the cable guy that came to the house and the difference between the cable guy and the subcontractor that came, and how when the subcontractor came, the cable guy, he showed me his badge and he did the things. Then the subcontractor, he scared the shit out of me. So I went and sat on the back porch and asked Oscar to come home. So then I'm thinking, okay, so now I'm trying to reframe that with starting at the call. Now I have to call and tell you something's broke, and you're going to tell me I will come. It's going to cost me this much money. I don't know if I can afford that. Then maybe I have to wait a few days. Now I have to stress out for 3 days if something's going to happen to me, right? Take it all away.
So this is fantastic. Wow. And this really speaks to, the whole point of this podcast, which is empowering women in the trades. Because what you're talking about ultimately is you add empathy to every step of the process. I think women do a better job at getting in the minds of the customers and saying, okay, how's my customer going to feel with this experience? Where us men, we're a little more mechanical. Right. Things are a little more black and white. And and
because we have the ability, like you said, to just think about, because again, immediately
it's because we are very emotionally intelligent, tuned into emotion.
Totally.
And the world has done that to us in a lot of ways. And so
it's
now
the way God created us. It's a gift.
But that's why there's so much value, and I had, when we did that training yesterday, because again, I was like, when that was said out loud, I kind of like stopped. Like I wanted to be like, holy shit.
But it's so true. And we've probably I know when you were saying this, I was thinking the other day, we had to have someone come work on our dryer, and I wasn't sure if Brent was going to be home or not. And
dryer vent cleaning?
No, our plug. Our it just quit getting hot. And so I was like, would you, and I was home with the girls because they would have been home from school, and I was like, would you just make sure you're home by then? It wasn't even that intentionally I thought anything. Yeah. I
just subconsciously you knew someone was coming to the house that you didn't know. Yeah. So,
and I've never, and to be honest, I should have thought about that by now. And
that's what we do.
So they didn't text you a picture of what his favorite food is? And all that? So what software is it? Is that a service?
ServiceTitan.
It's ServiceTitan.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we have a picture where he's smiling,
plug.
and it's a little bio on him, why he got into plumbing, what he likes to do, what his favorite food is. What's really funny, sidebar, and we do these, is this lady had just signed up for a dating site, but had also called a plumber. And she signed up with us, and she got this picture of one of our plumbers that said all about him. And she called Andrea, and she was like, I thought this was one of my matches, and I was so excited because I also like Mexican food.
Are we about to start running PPC ads on Tinder?
Maybe some PPC ads on Tinder. But I just think there's so much that
Could we dominate that market or what?
That would be fun.
Hey,
you put all your
note.
plumbers on there.
Listen,
oh my God.
if I'm ever on
$0
Tinder,
service call
you're
with
gonna run
first
my
date.
PPC ad, okay, Forrest? We're going to figure that out.
But it really is like I feel like we've kind of squirreled out a little bit, but it is that it's really not, though, because what we're saying is that from the very first conversation, you have to take that call and prep everything that's going to happen after. And you have to, especially if you're paying money for the phone to ring or not, whether it's, and now someone, one day popped off and was like, you put so much pressure on Perry marketing, Perry, because you know this, Forrest. If you walk in my office, first of all, if you walked in my office and said, hello, my name's Forrest Perry, half of my team is going to shit their pants.
I'm going to visit.
You're a celebrity. You are a celebrity. You're a celebrity because they
everybody
know.
gets cookie jars for Christmas.
No, he's a celebrity because everything, I will get a text. I guarantee you, I could look in my call center chat right now and they'll say, do you want me to take this call? It's Perry. Because that's how hardcore we focus on those calls because we know what we pay for them.
Forrest has been really working on his personal branding.
Man, you guys are buttering the crap out of me.
You
all right,
know
I'm
this
getting
is true,
uncomfortable.
though. Stop it. You know this is true. We talk in our.
Do you need another
I didn't
drink?
bring a Sharpie for autographs or anything. So look,
but we make sure that the call is that important. And then someone has said,
secretly.
well, what about the
Say more.
what about we're gonna take a picture at the end and I'm gonna send it to my call center and say, hey, it's Forrest Perry, and they're gonna
so
be like,
funny.
what? So, which they know you, but anyways, even the calls. So when you put that much emphasis on we put that much emphasis on the Perry calls. Now the emphasis is really on all the calls. They just know how much your calls cost because PPC is the most expensive.
100%. Yeah.
God,
so that has to
is
be.
it more expensive than LSA for me? I should know this.
Yeah, it is.
Every
it is.
time?
Yeah.
It is. It's just, generally you're going to get a higher demand.
I'm about to do this mid show here. Just keep going.
Just roll with it.
I'm just gonna. We're rolling the show, but I'm gonna send my call.
So to boil this down for the folks listening, you should pay more attention to your paid phone calls, right? You should have people listening to your paid phone calls.
Could be either.
Yeah, PPC. Your Facebook,
LSA.
LSA ads. If you have a call center manager who listens to calls, listen to those marketed leads
It's hard
first.
to listen to calls.
Yeah. I know it gets
hurts
brutal.
my feelings.
Hey, those calls though. You've had to only send me like one, right? Because he sent me
more than one, and I'm always like.
He sent me one, and I will stand up and take my computer and make the whole thing and listen. And they're all like,
it's so brutal.
Because sometimes it's rough. And I think one time he sent one time was like our after hours third party, and it was literally like we fired him. But now they know. That's why your call center has to be that hardcore of a focus and amazing. I think a lot of contractors screw that up.
Or just gloss over it.
Love you. You hire a receptionist for $11 an hour. First of all, no one works for $11 an hour anymore.
And can I just throw in a side note? Anytime you have a third party call center handling the majority of your calls, don't run paid ads. It's just you're going to burn cash. And I know there are a lot of third party call centers that really
they're just but even when they're good, they're just okay. It's like eating even bad pizza is still pizza.
Totally.
It's like yes.
Yeah.
You have to have that someone inside your your team that gets it. Yes. That third party when they're answering for 15 different companies. That's why. What do you think about AI?
So actually, we're one of our.
Don't say me. Are you about to white label some AI?
Oh, hell no. So here's the thing. We live in a capitalist society, right? So anytime, as long as you have one plumber and one HVAC guy that wants to look better than the next plumber and HVAC guy, there will always be a room for marketing. There will always be room for empathy, for building trust. I want to build more trust than my competitor gets, right?
I'm going to give back.
Yeah. So as long as there is that, AI will have its place and content writing and all that. It's made SEO leaps and bounds easier.
Could we all run our own SEO?
About SEO.
Could we all run our own SEO now with ChatGPT?
Off the record.
Oh yeah, off the record. Yeah.
This has been Power Women of the Trades. Like what you hear so far? Leave us a review in Apple and make sure to listen to our other episodes wherever you enjoy listening to your podcasts. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.